Welcome to the 5-Year You podcast, a show dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself one day at a time. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kat, and we promise to keep it raw, real, and relatable.
Are you ready to grow? Are you somebody who loves Christmas and just can't wait the other 12 months of the year for it to come back? If so, this episode is not for you. You've got it figured out and you can move on. This episode is called How to Enjoy Christmas, and it's for those of us who kind of struggle at Christmas time. Or during the holidays of any kind, really, but we're going to focus on Christmas because it's the end of the year right now as we're recording this. I'm Andrew, and with me always is Kat. How you doing today, Kat?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I can acknowledge that this topic can often feel very heavy, and it's hard for a lot of people this time of year. I think there is a ton of expectations and a ton of interest pulling us a million different directions. So this episode, I think we're going to get down to some brass tacks on things. What are your thoughts about it initially?
Yeah, I saw this topic and I thought that we could do it in a way that would be helpful for people. I really connected with it as a mom. I feel like this time of year is very, very heavy for moms. A lot of people are like, oh, you're the mom, you bring the magic. And I feel like it is very, very stressful. Shout out to the men like Andrew who are very helpful during the holidays, who participate in things and think about gifts and wrap gifts and all the things. But I know that there are a lot of women experiencing quiet resentment in their homes right now, or they're dealing with family members, or like, I don't know, picking out their mother-in-law's gift again this year, and they just don't want to. So I am here to chat about it all today and to let people know that if you're burned out already, it's okay. It's normal.
It is normal. And first of all, thank you very much for the compliment. I just assume everybody does the things I do and that nothing is like, okay, well, thank you for that.
Just know.
I'll dial up the blush right now. When you're feeling like this at Christmas time, it can feel very isolating because everybody else around you might be feeling like, oh, this is wonderful and joyous and everything's great. But for a lot of us, it's just not. And that can be because of childhood things that happen that kind of tainted Christmas. It could be, stuff that's going on in the present day with family passing or important relationships ending. Or it can just be illnesses or anything else. There's a million reasons why this day can go bad. And I just want to communicate that you're not broken if you're not feeling it this year. It's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. And in North America, we go way overboard on everything. And I had the privilege of living in a developing country for 3 years when I was younger, and Christmas is so different there. Kids get one gift from Santa, and there's parts of the world where, kids are fortunate to get anything to open up on Christmas morning. And the fact that we go so over the top in North America really accentuates all these feelings that we're just not doing enough. Add in social media and the fact that some people got really lazy elves at their house and some people got really active elves, which is not your fault. It just kind of depends on which ones show up. The ones that come to my house constantly drunk, barely do anything, but then other people have very active ones. So, you get what you get, but this time of year it's busy. And if you add on all the expectations and how you believe you're supposed to be, you're setting yourself up for more challenges and a lot more emotional instability as we get closer.
Yeah, exactly. And the Christmas songs, the hecticness, the never-ending Hallmark movies that just seem to take everybody's bad situation and somehow make it merry at the end of 90 minutes is just not realistic for a lot of people. And I find that those kind of things compound the pain that a lot of us go through in those hard moments, because you start to think there's something wrong with you. And you start to think that it's never enough. And you and I were talking about gifts we had purchased for the kids, and, we stopped and like, it's enough. It just is. You want to keep giving more and more. And The reality is, there it's a finite amount. I love the idea of like one gift a year at this stage in my life because then it's actually done with meaning and purpose and with some thoughtfulness rather than just opening up your wallet and spending, a ton of money on things that people probably aren't going to remember a year from now. I was thinking about the gifts I've gotten from Christmas over my lifetime, and I don't remember a ton of them if I'm being super honest about it.
Yeah, there's always one moment. There was actually this interesting video going around where a mom was asking her preteen, "What was your favorite gift that I got you last year?" And she really couldn't remember anything. She was really, really trying. And then she said, "What was your favorite trip last year?" And immediately it was like, "Oh, I loved it when we did this, when we went to Colorado and da da da." And
Mhm.
it just really showed that the child didn't remember a bunch of the things, but she remembered the experience. And so a lot of people trend towards doing things like that, and I love that. I think it's okay to do something different. And I think it's okay to have a mixture of feelings this time of year. We are so often told that we have to be happy, we have to be joyful. This is the best time of year. If you live in North America, you're constantly told you have all this privilege and all of this stuff, and we need to be grateful for it. But it is part of being human is having the ability to have dynamic feelings, meaning you can hold happiness and sadness at the same time. You can hold excitement and overwhelm at the same time. You can be tired on Christmas morning and still really happy that your kids are super excited. And so, if you're feeling some of those emotions that we tend to label as less desirable or more negative emotions, that's okay. That's just you being a human on the rock. That's very, very normal to feel the range of things during these big times of year.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you very much for saying that. I think it's safe to say, and this is a really good reframe, is that Christmas is an amplifier. So if you're a
Mm.
little burnt out, you're going to feel more burnt out. If you're, feeling joy, you're probably going to feel just a ton more joy. And if you have pain, unfortunately, you're going to feel a lot more pain. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Like we talk about those negative emotions like sadness and grief and all these things. Yes, they're painful emotions, but they aren't bad emotions. And I think when you can stop labeling them and just kind of go, this is part of the human experience. We all signed up for this. We're all going to experience these things from time to time. It's okay. Just know that it's just one day, or if depending on your family, you might have it over multiple days. And if that case, good luck. But like this Christmas day it is so much pressure on it for every parent, and it is disgusting. I'm sorry, I'm going to break script a little bit with this. I'm ticked that my life is over dominated this month by a morning. That's because that's what it is, right? Like the kids get up, they open their gifts, they're great, and they go off and play. And we do all this stuff to make that moment so significant. Then we get into the pleasing everybody else part where we have to go a million different ways to please a million different people. And we get to the end of the day, and if we're lucky, we feel like we maybe satisfied everybody else, but who nobody was looking after, who you weren't looking after is yourself. And I really want to just nail home this concept that you need to focus on yourself on this day. You can still focus on the kids and the parents and everything else, but you got to come first with this. It's really important because if you're focusing on your needs, everybody else is going to be better off.
Yeah, I really love that. And honestly, it's a huge hallmark of what we teach at 5 Year Year, what we work on in coaching. We're all taught that it's selfish to focus on yourself or to do what you want to do. But through our coaching, we go through 5 weeks of intense coaching with people. We ask people to sit down, and sometimes for the first time in their lives, we're like, what do you actually want to do with your life? How do you actually want to be? What are the things you actually like to do? And so I would encourage anybody to do that on the holidays. Are you an extrovert that loves going to all the different parties? Are you a baker who loves making cookies for everyone and their grandma? Or are you somebody who's maybe likes things a little bit calmer, a little less chaos? Maybe you just love Christmas movies and want to watch one every night snuggled on the couch with your family. Whatever it is, what feels right to you and what you actually want to do is so important because you also deserve to have a nice holiday season. And sure, there are compromises and things like that. But the question we have is what would it look like if Christmas was designed around your emotional needs, not everybody else's expectations? What would bring you joy? What would bring you peace and calm and happiness? Think about it. And then whatever answer comes to you, start from there.
I agree. I think it's the easiest said thing and the hardest thing to do is to kind of acknowledge your own needs, right? Like to go like, well, yeah, what is a positive Christmas for my emotional needs? Is it getting up at the crack of dawn? Is it not making a meal for 20 people? Or do I love doing that? Do I love doing that kind of work because I enjoy providing in that way? There's no wrong answer, but you should really tune into what your needs are for this time of year because everybody's so scattered that a lot of times the moms especially fall through the cracks and it's what do you need and at the end of it it's like I just need rest at this point because I've been
Yeah.
going so hard. And I think that's another thing that we always talk about sleep as like this is a thing that nobody should be skipping out on. You need to get your rest every night because you're going to feel better. And or a little aside there. But yeah, you gotta focus on your needs and at least know what you want so you can have a preference if you're given an option somewhere on the day or around the holiday season.
And doing less is not selfish either. Traditions, I don't know why some people's traditions have gotten to be so intense and expensive. Like, it's amazing if you can afford to do really elaborate traditions and like kudos and enjoy it, right? But there are so many people who cannot, let's say, afford to go to the Polar Express at $100 a ticket or something like that. You don't have to do these specific things. Your kids don't remember that specific thing. They remember how you feel. And if you're stressed, they might scream on the Polar Express. They also might scream if you make your own hot chocolate and drive around and look at Christmas lights. I think we get stressed during the season because there's also so much expectation. You know, maybe our parents or aunts or grandparents have expectations of us. And then we unknowingly have these expectations on the kids. And then all the moms are like, tonight's going to be the night where the whole family's going to come to me and say, thank you for doing the magic. Thank you so much. We can tell all the hard work you put into it. But no one's going to do it. So expectation is the number one thing that causes disappointment in all points of life, but especially now. And so don't feel like you have to do more in order to achieve more happiness. It's far better to stay within your budget, within what you have, and to just feel good about it. Feel good that you are giving your family everything that you can within your abilities, and that is nothing to be ashamed about.
No, I think one of the hardest things as a parent is and maybe this is just an attitude from a lot of people that I know is kind of they always want to one up what they did last year. The problem is you have 18 years with this child and the rest of your life, and that's a lot of one upping. So if you're doing Disney as an age 10 trip, you better be booking tickets on the shuttle for age 12 because you're going to outer space if that logic carries on. It's like we did a
Where's
plane
that
ride this year.
family?
Yeah, exactly. Like so
That's me.
it's just all to show that it is kind of silly when you think of it, but it's just allowing yourself that permission to be okay with what you're doing. You're doing enough. You've always been doing enough. And yeah, you're going to want to do more. You're always going to want to do more because you're a good person. You love the people you love and you always want to do more for them. That's a positive thing. It shouldn't be felt as a punishment because you can't do everything you want to do for that person right at this moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's helpful to have a mixture of traditions, and remember, traditions had to start sometime. So if you don't like the traditions that you have or you're exhausted by them, you can totally think of a new one. This can be the first year of your new tradition, and it can be a really small, what I would call an anchor of comfort. We always watch, I don't know, we just watched Elf like a week ago. So it's like, oh, we always watch Elf every year. We always watch Home Alone every year. And that's our movie night thing. Or we
Okay.
always take a, like I said, a Christmas drive with hot chocolate. It's something small and gentle and easy to do. You've got to make it easier on yourself. Throwing a party for 50 people and having gifts for all the, it's just so much. It's so much. The kids and I did a little angel tree this year. That was the first year we've done that. We just, went and purchased a few things. I think it's good for kids to see that not everybody has the same kind of Christmas. It makes them a little bit more grateful for what they have. But there are people on Instagram who bought an entire angel tree and gave Christmases to 20 families. And we did one. And instead of feeling bad that I couldn't do as much as a 7-figure entrepreneur on Instagram, I was just happy that I made it to Walmart. Like that was big for me. That was the sacrifice for me.
I love it. So, if you're listening to this, and I'm going to switch the tone just a little bit, but we should address the people that are grieving this year. And that is, it's hard. And I think there's no right way to grieve during the holidays. There's just, recreating those old traditions might hurt. It might be more painful than you might expect them to be. I think it's really important. There's no right way to get through the holidays with this. It's what feels best for you. And this is why we're telling you to tune into yourself and to just honor what your needs are. And I think that part of it is that acknowledge that there's going to be some joy in this year and some sadness. And like Catherine said, they can coexist. It doesn't mean if you're grieving, it doesn't mean you're ungrateful for the situation you're in. And smiling doesn't mean you've healed. You can easily show up where you're going and put on a smile, and everybody knows what you're going through, and everybody's there, loves you on one level or another, and can care about you. Except for that weird uncle who's always kind of a jerk. You can just kind of put him off to the side. You don't need to worry about him anymore. And if you decide to stay home this year too, that's not giving up. It is just allowing the space that you need to grieve and to heal. And next year's just going to be a different one again, and you'll find a different way to do it. It's okay to break tradition. Just because you break tradition one year doesn't mean it's broken forever. If you, like Catherine said, if you don't like traditions, that's a different thing. Allow yourself this space because this is a different year for you. And we've gone through losses. We've gone through, losing people and losing ideas of how things are supposed to be. And as we rebuild that, we are able to be more present and honor what we need. And as we do that, we create our new traditions. We create new ideas for ourselves. But just allow yourself to feel what you feel. It's healthier for you in the end.
Yeah, I really like that. And, it reminds me of how important it is to set boundaries this time of year. And more than ever, people are really not going to like your boundaries this time of year. But if you're grieving, if you're hurting, if you're going through something and you want to do things completely different, you can honor that without guilt. For those of you who maybe want to stay home or maybe don't want to take a plane flight across the country or just don't want to deal with hecticness, maybe you want to sit in your snuggie on the couch and, watch James Bond. I really don't know what you want to do, but whatever it is, it's important that you honor it. And there might be people in your life who are like, oh, you got to just, keep on living and you need to, come here and fly there and go Christmas shopping. You need to, take your mind off of things. You don't have to do any of that. If you're grieving, if you're hurting, just kind of getting through it can be enough. And we're here to tell you that you've got permission to live life the way you want to live it. You're an adult. And if you set that boundary and people don't like it, that's okay. There might be hurt feelings, but it's okay. You have to honor yourself.
Exactly. I love that. I really love it. So, what are some practical ways to reframe Christmas? I think when we look at it, I still grow up with the idea of Christmas of the kind of coming down and see the presents under the tree and the big grin and everything. And if you have young kids, you probably still are going through that. As the kids get older, it shifts quite a bit with that stuff. And that kind of Christmas spark that you have, that innocence with the younger kids, it kind of changes as time goes on. So you are allowed to redefine Christmas at any given moment, including on the fly that day.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that I like to think is that, like you can choose peace instead of excitement. That's, having a nice, calm Christmas day is much nicer. You can prioritize yourself. I think Catherine said something really good there about boundaries. And it is really hard because it's not like any other day of the week where, you are bringing multiple families into this, multiple personalities. So setting a boundary is going to feel unnatural. It doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done. And you might have to have some flexibility with that to kind of get what you need with it.
Yeah, it can definitely be there might be some compromises, maybe you'll go a place you don't wanna go, but leave a little bit early or, whatever, and there's a lot of family members and a lot of opinions on how things should be done, and honestly, if you can honor yourself for, like, 1 hour of the day, you're doing really good. But yeah, you can have a comforting Christmas day instead of a day jam packed with traditions and humans. You can have a quiet Christmas day instead of chaos. I think it's helpful as a coping skill to kind of step outside yourself on Christmas Day. Like if you had all these little kids for so long and then now you have teenagers and you can barely wake them up on Christmas morning, like kind of step outside of yourself and be like, it's changing. It's sad, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Like things change. It's not always going to be the same as little kids running on Christmas morning, and that's all right. This is how life goes and how kids grow, and it's like heartbreaking and wonderful all at the same time, and it's totally okay to feel all of the different things. So even if there's not a million presents under the tree, like, the Home Alone New York movie scene at the end, that's okay. If you wake up happy and healthy and, either you're cherishing your moment alone or you have kids or someone you love with you, you're winning the game. And it's okay to have the range of feelings that day.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So before we wrap up, I wanted to give you some what not to do at Christmas. This is more for your sanity than anything else, but don't force cheer. I think one of the hardest things, and I have seen people do this, and I have probably have done this in the past too, where it's like you just want the person, maybe it's your kids or your partner or anybody or your parents to be happy, and they just might not be there for a host of reasons that you don't know why. You never know why somebody's going through what they're going through. So don't try to force cheer. Don't be like, if the mood is sullen for a moment because people are, acknowledging something, don't get up and say, we're going caroling, because that is too far of a stretch for everyone in the room in that moment. You have to nurture it a little bit at a time, unless your family is like that, then, whatever. Don't compare your holiday to others. Your Christmas is your Christmas. It's not the neighbors. It's not everybody on Instagram. Stay off Instagram on Christmas Day. It just makes you feel bad from everything people have told me. And don't override your emotions. Like you're allowed to feel it. If you need to excuse yourself and go to the bathroom and just, have a moment to shed a tear or, just scream into a pillow, not in the bathroom, that would be weird, but, go and scream into a pillow in somebody's bedroom because you're just like, because, you're feeling a certain way. That is okay. You just need to be, okay with what you're doing. And that is the last one. Don't shame yourself on this day. You're getting through it. It's 24 hours. We're all going to get through this together. And then we're going to eat leftovers the next day and enjoy a much, much nicer Boxing Day.
Yes, take care of yourself, everybody. It's okay to feel all the things, and it's okay to say no to the things you don't want to do. Just again, even if for 1 hour you get to prioritize your own needs and spend the day how you want, you're winning. So this whole episode, the purpose was to offer some solidarity for those who maybe are having a challenging time this year or who are feeling overwhelmed right now. And I hope we've offered that to you. And yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Hey guys, quick disclaimer. We're podcasters on the internet. If you need to seek professional help, please go see your healthcare professional.